Good morning guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a comparison on how the chip changes depending on the feed. So we have an AP of 0.25 to 2.5 AP. I remind you that it's all relative at my small lathe. Una 3000 AVP supplied by Torneria Automatica SRL. Vortex insert supplied by MB Supply. Let's start with what you see behind me with a feed of 5 per revolution, then 1D, then 2D, then 2D, then 3 slash desi, then 4 slash desi. And what are we going to see? Well, obviously some things that we won't see, but it's obvious. I'll explain it to you. Is the surface roughness. Obviously, as the feed increases, the surface roughness also increases, so the surface becomes uglier as applied on as anks. Less smooth. This, let us say, is a fairly obvious outcome because the radius of the tool leaves behind certain grooves. You can start this thing with, and I've already explained it to you in a previous video, the use of scraper or vipe inserts. But today we are talking about chip control, so we will obviously see the decrease in machining time by increasing the feed rate, and we will also see the chip thinning out and behaving differently. Well, now I will start the first machining operation behind me, which is the longest one, where you can see that the chip lies away. It is so thin. It is very thin. How thin is the chip section? The chip section equals the feed rate. So this chip is quite thick with a measurement of 5. The chip breaker will not work, but the chip still breaks because the chip itself does not possess any recacite, not a real consistency. By increasing the feed rate, you can already see, well, obviously we have the machining time that the chip becomes thicker and we start to see it. We can see it clearly on FO2. It is there. Yani. Oh, Brad. The chip breaker. At this point, FO3 is working and breaking the chip. Now the chip is breaking because the feed rate is low, but the chip breaker is already operating well beyond its intended machining capacity. It's very nice to see how it breaks. So how the chip breaks at FO2, the chip, because the chip breaker leave the core deforms to its chip. Okay, what happens at F0? At F03 the chip lengthens, meaning it's no longer the chip breaker that breaks the chip. Look what happens at F04. It's not the chip breaker breaking the chip, but the chip that curls up on itself and breaks into 1,000 pieces. It's a positive thing, look at it here, but it's all a negative thing because at F04, a chip breaker, an insert with a radius of 04, will flatten up out quickly and erode because the wear is determined by the cutting speed, but it erodes very, very quickly. But look how the speed changes. Here I finished in a flash. I haven't even started here. Well, the correct feed in this axis is 2 dc per revolution, radius 0.4, 2 dc per revolution. I break the chip perfectly. Radius 0.1, excellent finishing because it leaves, let's say, an ideal surface quality. Let's get Fusion to help us. This is the thickness of my chip at feed. Let's see. If I change this to feed 04, obviously I can't repost for all. You see? And because I randomly curled the chip here, you see that the thickness of the chip changes. It's obvious that at FO4, this chip is more difficult to break on its own. But what happens? At FO, the gel for the vid is high enough to cause the chip to curl and uppidungsel and hit against it. The chip should actually break. under the chip breaker. I don't have the correct dimensions here. The chip instead should break right here in this specific area directly under the chip breaker. And that's what happens in the image I showed you in the AFF video. Let's see. AF. Here we can observe a chip breakage that is being perfectly controlled by the use of our specialized chip breaker. That is much. How do I know that? The fundamental rule is that the insert performs optimally when operating at half the feed rate corresponding to its own tool radius. After that, now the chip breakers start to be much more elaborate than they used to be. Look at the supplier's instructions. Most of the supplier's boxes indicate the feed range, which represents the specific feed range within which the heat breaker is designed to work effectively. Oh, if you work at too low a feed, the chip breaker doesn't work, the chip gets crushed. If you work with a feed that is too high, the chip escapes the chip breaker and we will end up putting the insert into a state of critical failure here. When in these videos that I have produced regarding chip control, I am obviously providing you with some general indications to be followed. Why? First, because I am working with a very light machine. Therefore, I cannot do the test that I would like to do by removing even 3-4 millimeters on the radius. Second, each machine behaves, and not that each machine behaves in its own way. Each machine has its own cards to play. That is a rigidity, a spindle line that allows you to also make feeds, the most important cutting depths, and then it also changes from material to material. Here we are using a VP. It chips well. I like to win easy, but this is available, and it is also the only steel that I trust to work with serenity on this machine. But I have already worked on harder stuff, but the poor little machine breaks down. What I want to convey is the message to you not to throw on just any feed insert unless you're making a single piece, then it does not matter. But especially when you make series or a small series, you have to set the feed rate so that the chip is controlled, and this may also require some tappo e alternotto po. So you set up the machine, set the feed rate to 0, 2, then put your head in the chip bin, look at it, pick up the chips, maybe with a glove, and look at the color of the chips. They shouldn't be purple, otherwise it means that more coolant is needed, unless you're working with special materials. Bono. The shape of the chip, how much it broke, what material I'm working with. I already told you in the previous video, if I'm working with a feed, I can hardly expect very short chips. But chip control is also part of being a trainer, not just programming, and these videos are more interesting both for comparing them with each other and for them having real practical information, because, as I said, the machine is light. I hope this video has been useful, that I have provided you with some information, or rather than just information, some interesting ideas and reflections. We shall see each other in the next video. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time.